when I started teacher training 14 years ago, I'd forgotten half of what I learned in my degree. I went off to Swansea Institute of Higher Education, thinking it was some kind of Hogwarts, and they were going to teach me the magical art of being able to just pull things out of the air and talk for an hour and keep children entertained. The reality was slightly different, but naivety is my superpower. So I found out that actually I had to relearn everything that I'd forgotten. And the planning and preparation that goes into those lessons to keep young people engaged is really, really hard. And what will inspire them anyway? Is it going to be your funky lesson plans where you've got them pegging out words to washing lines, or getting them to act out human cloud formations? Or is it getting them to build volcanoes with baking soda like they do in the teacher training ads? So I finally got to the end of the year with a better perspective of what teaching was. And then I went to apply for jobs and found that actually they've added the expectation that you have to be inspirational too. So inspiration is a really weird thing to then put into your CV or your application form. How do you prove that that's what you are? So I had to think about how I was going to actually sell myself. And I thought about the teachers that had inspired me. And then over the last 14 years, watching really inspiring teachers that I've had the privilege to work with, I feel like I've learned something about what makes an inspirational teacher that I can try and apply in my teaching. So the first thing I've learnt is that inspirational teaching is not the same as engaging lessons. That's just good teaching. It's not about how we perform and how we entertain. It's what we draw out of them. Inspirational teachers don't put content in. They draw stuff out. Now, if we're going to try and draw stuff out of young people, one of the most important things that we can do is listen to children. And inspirational teachers will listen to young people. Now, our job is to talk, and we talk a lot all day long. And sometimes it's really difficult to take time to listen to more than have you understood. So how do we do that? I sometimes take time out. And I use something that I was taught in a psychology course years ago, and it's the Johari window. So you get the kids to sit down and come up with words to describe themselves. The boys find it really hard. And then they sit down and they describe their friends. They write things about that would describe other people, and they all find that really, really easy. And then everybody gets their words, and they sit down, and they have to sort them into the boxes, like there. And it won't be long before someone puts their hands up and goes, "Miss, what do I write in unknown? How can I write a word in there if I don't know it, and they don't know it?" And I say, well, this is your potential. This is what you are, but not yet. These are the things that you are going to be in the future. These are the things that someone is going to use, the words they're going to use to describe you in 10 years' time, 15 years' time. So you write down what you want to be in there. Now, the minute they put a word in that box, then you've got a goal or an ambition. And then you can make your lessons and your learning and the opportunities all about them. You can say, so you told me that you wanted to be someone who made a difference in people's lives. Well, we're going to read a play today, and we're going to look at someone who tried to do that so you can learn from them. Now, if you're going to ask people to share with you what it is that they want to be, then you owe them something in return. And inspirational teachers will believe in young people. And this is one of, I think, the most fundamental things. If we're going to introduce a growth mindset in young people, it will only work if we believe in them and they believe in themselves. And us believing in them is really, really important because they look to us as the people who know stuff. And if we believe in them, then they grow and think, okay, well, I can do it. I had a group that were doing a business competition several years ago when I started teaching in schools. And they did really well. They made it through to the finals. And as we travelled down, a senior member of staff came with me, and he said, "Can they win? Or are they kidding themselves?" And I was thunderstruck. I thought they were awesome. And I thought, oh no, I've been so stupid. How could I have thought that they could win? And then I thought, oh no, that was awful of me. I've let them think they can win. They're going to be so disappointed. I suddenly looked at them with a new perspective and thought, they can't win. How can we inspire young people when we think like that? The most important thing that you can do for someone, the most inspiring thing that you can do for someone is believe in them. It's really, really important. Now, the trouble is, when you get kids to sign up for things like that, and you are going to believe in them, you find that you have to challenge them. And this is something that's really difficult to get right, particularly with growing mental health issues in school, to actually put pressure on kids to do stuff. But inspirational teachers will still challenge. I had a young lady in my classes who'd been withdrawn from lessons because she had anxiety. Now, as she was reintegrated back into lessons, she came into mine just as we were about to do a business presentation. And I'd ramped up the stakes by saying, let's do it in the hall on the stage, and let's get year 11 in to come and watch. And they were all, yay, okay. And the conversation went, I can't do that. Yes, you can, I believe in you. So her form tutor emailed me, you can't get her to do this, it's not fair. You've got to withdraw her. And I said, but I believe she can do it, it's fine. Then her mother rang, and then the deputy head emailed. And they said, you can't get her to do this, it's too much. You know her background. And I said, okay, but I do believe in her. I don't want to withdraw her. I'm not going to force her, but I just feel that if I'm the only person left who believes that she can do it, I've kind of got a moral responsibility to keep believing and keep this opportunity open. Or I'm going to confirm what she fears, that actually she can't do this. So this was a school which was fantastic in terms of supporting young people with mental health. And consequently, that was why she had this fantastic support network around her. These were people who were going to help her through challenges. And I realized that my role had to be the challenge. And that's not easy to do, but we have to rise to that challenge. My believing in her created an expectation. The expectation created additional stress. She used that stress to whip the rest of the group into shape so that they would minimize the possibility of failure. And she did the presentation, and she was fantastic. Now, not every young person who tries to rise to the challenge is going to be as successful as she was. The Enterprise group didn't win that competition, not by miles, but they had a good time. So you need to be able to prepare young people for failure. Inspirational teachers are not afraid to do failure, to model it. This is what it looks like. I'm trying something and I got it wrong. And it's okay. And it's not anything to be ashamed of. I'm going to think now, how do I put it right? And I'm going to show you that it's possible to do. And because I show you my failure and look, this is how it works, it's okay. When I ask you to do the next crazy thing, I understand the stakes. And I still think that you should do it. Inspirational teachers, as well as being able to do failure, aren't afraid to teach the everyday. They're not afraid to empower young people. Now, when you talk to teachers, they'll say that the time that they were really, really inspired was when we did something outside of lessons. It's when they were on the pitch, on the school pitch. Okay, it was when I saw that child in the school play. They were fantastic. We went off on a trip. We were on the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, something like that. And they were amazing. But the trouble is, we've got such massive workloads. Creating these opportunities is really, really hard. But we forget what a fantastic human resource we've got in front of us all the time. We should empower young people to actually create opportunities for themselves. That's really, really important. And actually get them to make these projects. Because what we're saying is, yeah, go on, then do it. What we're saying is, this is how you make opportunities in the future. And this is what we want them to do. Teachers who are inspiring are not afraid to inspire the everyday. It's really important as teachers that we get every young child, regardless of their background, to aim for university. I had a young person who was interested in being a hairdresser. He wanted to be the best hairdresser, and he was going to run his own business and show everybody how to do it. And the one thing that stood in his way was fantastic GCSE results. Even his friends were saying, don't do the apprenticeship, go to university. Now that's brilliant, but we have to make sure that these goals that schools have set us and the things that we think young people should do, that we're actually going to let them put their dreams first. If we've taken the trouble to get them to tell us what they believe in and tell us what it is that they're going to do, we'll challenge them and we'll help them get there. We focus very much as teachers on what we teach and how we teach it. And we need to remember why we do it, because we want to inspire young people to find their way. And so we need to respect what their way is and their why. Thank you.